we haven't even started the video and I'm already deeply fascinated. If you didn't spot it, or perhaps it didn't render out in my video properly, the very first frame of today's subject vid is the thumbnail of the actual post. What? Why?
Why?
I think I know why, but you haven't had to do that shit in like a million billion years. See, you used to need to do so to have whatever thumbnail you wanted, but now you can just like upload an actual thumbnail using the tools YouTube provides to do so. I don't know though, because I don't think he's done it before. God damn it. Sorry, completely off topic, but I'm just so baffled.
This is Darwin to Jesus. Welcome back to the channel.
Hi, D2J, or Deterge, or whatever. Personally, I really want to call you Hot Rod. How you doing, Rothod? And we are back again with another video. And I know you watch them, because every time you do, you go on Twitter for some reason, and then act like I should respond to anything that you say there, as if I use that fucking place for anything other than shit posting. Sorry, dude, no. If you want me to humor you when it comes to these videos, you're going to have to actually make a response to me, as in a video. And I promise, you will get one whole video response. Maybe. I don't know. Depends if I remember you exist and check to see if you did anything. Nothing personal, but it's just the second I stop interacting with anyone online, I tend to forget they exist, because I have the object permanence of an infant. Ooh, look, whiskey.
In today's video, I want to talk about a subject that's been coming up a lot lately. Evidence.
Well, that does tend to come up when you make claims about the universe and how it works. If you want to tell me that, say, God magicked all the stuff into exist for no reason someday, then you are going to have to actually prove that that's right. Using more than just book, though, with some actual, evidence. Same if you want to say that certain scientific fields are false, even though they work and make predictions and, function like every other scientific field, and stuff based purely on the Bible doesn't do that for some reason, probably because of Satan.
Recently in one of my videos, I mentioned that Christians should not give atheists evidence, and atheists are really up in arms about it.
I don't know about atheists as like a large group. I'm pretty sure most of them don't care. And the ones like me just found it really, really funny. And more than a tad, completely unsurprising. What? The man that believes total bullshit doesn't want to provide evidence? What a surprising surprise. Next you'll tell me that he doesn't understand basic scientific principles and is a giant fucking homophobe. Among many other things he considers to be qualities, I'm sure.
After listening to their responses, I decided I would elaborate on why I said this and why Christians shouldn't be giving atheists evidence. So here are 3 reasons Christians shouldn't give evidence to atheists.
Wait. Let me guess. Reason 1 will be, wah! Reason 2 will be, my book! And number 3 will be, stop proving my evidence wrong!
The first reason is because of the framing. In any disagreement, the frame is incredibly important.
Okay, I don't know exactly where you're going to go with this, but I'm pretty sure it will be irrelevant. If you make a claim, you have to back it up. It's as simple as that, dude. It doesn't matter how you frame whatever you said. Like, oh, but this is just my opinion on reality, or some shit like that, I guess. If you say something that you want other people to accept as true, then you prove it. If you don't, why the fuck are you even speaking?
And both sides are trying to assert their frame, their view of the topic, onto their opponent.
Right, so frames are perspectives. Well, that's even less relevant, dude. Evidence doesn't give a shit about how people view the thing. That's the beauty of it. You follow the evidence to its conclusion. The more evidence you have, the clearer that conclusion will become. That's the fundamental of science. That's how it works. That's why it works. Because you can give 100 different people the same sets of evidence, and if they follow them to their conclusions, no matter their worldview or frame, as you appear to be calling it, that conclusion will be the same so long as they are following scientific methodology. You know, that thing that we use to remove bias. I mean, I could see why you wouldn't want to give evidence if that's what everyone else is doing, but you aren't. It must be really confusing how all these other people are coming to wildly different conclusions to you, but somehow the same one as each other. Maybe you should pick up a goddamn science textbook or something.
From the outset, the atheist frames the conversation as if they are genuine seekers who will change their minds if you just give them good evidence.
Oh, great. It's not even that intellectually honest. It's that the atheists are always fucking liars. Although he did strike on something there. Good evidence, because that's a thing many people don't seem to understand. Everything has some form of evidence for it, in one form or another. The issue is how well that evidence actually supports it. I mean, there is evidence that the sky is actually a second ocean up there. I mean, water falls on us, and it's blue, just like the one on the ground. It's just that when you know more about it, you understand that the water's coming from clouds, and that the ocean and sky are blue because of the various ways that light interact with them. So they are bad evidence for that claim. And, well, every piece of evidence I have seen for goddamn the real big man has been bad evidence. And just because you think it's good doesn't mean I have to immediately accept. Especially, and I cannot stress this enough, when it's really fucking stupid.
This means that if you accept their frame, then they get to decide if what you have presented is good evidence or not. If they aren't convinced by your evidence, they now get to claim you have not had any good evidence. Sound familiar?
That's not a frame, that's how fucking reality works, you doofus. I'll bet they also do that thing where they explain why it's bad evidence, and then you do that thing where you ignore that explanation and act like a goddamn victim. It's a bold strategy. How's it been working out for you? Oh, right, yeah.
If it isn't now clear why this is a problem, I'll explain further.
I'm sure it's a problem for you, but that's almost certainly because you have confused good evidence with evidence you find convincing. The difference is, the things you find convincing are obviously bullshit. And the things you don't find convincing, real science, is bad evidence, even though it shows what it claims, and it forms predictive models, and all the things good evidence, does.
Firstly, the atheist is not open-minded. Anyone calling themselves an atheist has a position and a strong bias, whether they admit it or not.
Said the person with an incredibly strong bias who also believes that he knows what's happening inside of other people's heads, and then claims he never said that, and then says it again, almost like he's lying, or at least far too stupid to understand what the words he uses mean.
Secondly, this framing allows the atheist to have complete control over what is considered evidence and who wins the argument. If you buy into this frame, you have no power in the conversation. The atheist is judge, jury, and executioner, and you're going to get the axe.
No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? Arguments aren't about winning or losing. It's about getting your point across and hopefully convincing someone of something, or being convinced and changing your position to a better one. Maybe even both of you will do that. In fact, the best arguments have both people coming out as winners. Because when you both get a better understanding of a subject and other people's positions, that's a good thing. If you think it's all about winning or losing, I can only assume you just aren't a very convincing person. And well, I have seen your videos, so...
That's why they love asking for evidence and trying to get you to talk about it. It's their favorite game, don't play it with them.
No, fuckwit, we ask for evidence to see if you have any. Maybe if you actually fucking brought some, this wouldn't keep happening to you. Also, you can ask them for evidence too, right? And a lot of the time, they will happily provide it. Dumbass atheists notwithstanding. And being an even dumber atheist than me, that's just embarrassing. And you can go, no, that bad evidence. But then, you have to explain why. And I reckon that's where you'll almost certainly fall flat on your face over and over and over again.
The second reason we shouldn't give atheists evidence is because it's not biblical.
What did I tell you? The first one was basically wah, and the second one is book though. Who's going 3 for 3 with me? I mean, seriously, I haven't pre-watched this. It's almost like these guys are painfully predictable or something like that.
The Bible clearly says that all men know God exists. They have a conscience, and they suppress the truth in unrighteousness. Romans 1:18 through 20 says,
Yep, the book says it's right, so it must be right. But you know that's bad evidence that your book is right? And, what if your book is wrong? I know, literal blasphemy, but bear with me. If your book is wrong and you are using it as an excuse to not actually be correct, well, isn't that just a wee bit really fucking pathetic? Also, Myster-M know your brain again. Dude, just admit that you think that you're psychic and go burn in hell with the rest of the witches.
For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth.
I don't know, man. That kind of sounds like it could be pro-evidence. I mean, if something is true, evidence should support it. That's how it works. If it's not true, you aren't going to have good evidence for it. It just seems a bit strange to me that you seem to want to suppress God's truth by ignoring all that evidence he gave you. That's going to make him real mad. And I hear that guy is a right vindictive cunt.
For what can be known about God is plain to them, because God has shown it to them.
But he didn't, therefore your book is wrong. I don't know what to tell you, mate. Your book, though, is saying things that I know for a fact aren't true. So again, you can either pretend that you know what's inside my brain, or maybe believe me when I tell you, honestly, that has not happened. So the Bible got it wrong. And if it got that wrong, what else did it get wrong? I'm going to make a wild guess here and say all of it, give or take.
For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world in the things that have been made.
Eternal power and divine attributes have been seen in all things that are made. Well, considering the only things that we know that are made are things that, people make, and that this exists, and then that exists, and oh, fucking hell, I forgot about those. Well, I think we can clearly surmise that God is literally a giant arsehole if that kind of shit gets shattered.
So they are without excuse.
Except, that's basically what every religious text claims in one way or another. Isn't it obvious that Thor does the lightning? Because why would there be lightning if he doesn't? And, well, Ra must be dragging the sun across the sky, because look, there's the sun, I think. Sorry, bad example, I'm British. I haven't seen that thing in fucking years.
If someone is suppressing the truth, then they don't need evidence to be convinced of the truth, do they?
Projection, thy name is Darwin to Jesus.
They need to stop suppressing the truth. When you give atheists evidence, you're accepting what they are saying and rejecting what the Bible says.
No, it would be arguing in good faith, and it's obvious how much you hate doing that. And I'm not saying that I do it all the time either. I mean, I once spent an evening telling him to fuck a pig. But to be completely fair to me, that was mostly because it was really, really funny. So what was I supposed to do? Not tell him to fuck a pig? Yeah, sure.
This is exactly what the atheist wants. They want you to believe them over the Bible.
Like, okay, sure, but don't you want us to believe the Bible over, facts and evidence? Again, it's about what is and isn't wrong. Do you want to be wrong? Do you care about actually being correct? I would bet that you at least think you do. So of course, people arguing over something would like to convince someone of what they're saying. Jesus Christ doesn't exist almighty. I knew you were a fucking idiot, but I didn't expect you to just come out and say it.
If you take an atheist's word over God's word, you've lost the plot.
Or, become correct. Also, pro tip, it's not actually the word of God. It's the word of some guys who want you to believe it's what God said. That is simply not the same thing. It's one of those, lies that you seem to like so much. Watch out for that.
The third reason we shouldn't give atheists evidence is because it's futile.
I'll take that. It is futile to keep giving someone evidence if they're going to keep refuting it and demonstrating you to be wrong. What wouldn't be futile is if you accepted that and said to yourself, you know what? Maybe they have a point. Everything I demonstrated is terrible proof for my claims. Maybe that means my claims are wrong.
Even if atheists weren't playing a game, and even if the Bible was wrong and they were really seeking, you still shouldn't give them evidence because of worldviews.
Wait, so the same point that you started with. And again, This shouldn't matter. And, yes, the Bible is wrong. And, we aren't playing a game. We are trying to get you to actually use that little noggin of yours. And the fact that you can even have a version of this where you are literally wrong about everything you think and you still aren't going to try and be correct. Dude, that is absolutely fucking ridiculous and completely unsurprising to me. You aren't even interested in being correct. You just want to win the argument. But with that attitude, I think you'd get a not applicable on an IQ test.
A worldview is a person's philosophical assumptions about reality. Our worldview is theistic. The atheist worldview is naturalistic.
Oh look, you don't know about the plethora of atheist worldviews. What a shock. You would be ignorant of things that you choose to talk about fucking constantly. Apologists never do that. And it's not even that he's ignorant and wrong, but that he's so fucking proud of it. I mean, I screw things up all the time. I am trying to learn all the time, trying to be better though, and poke and play with ideas, but you won't even attempt to engage with anything you have already decided is wrong. I would almost feel sorry for you if I didn't find it so fucking funny.
These worldviews affect how we see everything else down the line, and we fit evidence into our pre-existing theory of reality.
Wrong. You fit evidence into your pre-existing worldview. People like me and many other atheists, in fact, fit their worldview around the evidence. If the evidence is compelling and says something about the world in a demonstrable way, people like myself will happily change our views to match the new paradigm. And that's a good thing. It makes us more correct, makes our understanding more complete and more solid. Although it is important that it should never become unchanging, because then you'll be, this fucking guy. Someone so divorced from reality, evidence is literally a fucking bad thing.
If your pre-existing theory of reality is that miracles don't happen, then any evidence for miracles will be dismissed because it doesn't fit your pre-existing theory of reality.
No, idiot. If you can prove a miracle, I am all here for it. The problem that you are having is not that your amazing evidence is so good and I'm just too mean to listen. It's that the evidence you have is fucking shit. Like, really fucking shit. Like, look at this giant pile of shit. And that's your evidence next to it. God damn.
All evidence is interpreted through these philosophical frameworks that we call worldviews.
No, evidence is evidence. It either demonstrates something or it doesn't. Our evidence demonstrates all sorts of shit. We can use it to make things and change the world and make life better for countless people. And your evidence makes for excellent fertilizer. But only the kind that maniacs use to make fucking bombs.
So discussing evidence with someone who is going to interpret everything you show them through an entirely different philosophical lens is completely pointless.
Well, I think we can end it there, because with that stupid meme, you have completely proven my point. Someone likely drew that shape, and perhaps they even put other numbers nearby that will demonstrate the orientation, aka evidence. So one of those people is there giving it all, my worldview makes me right and you can't change my mind. And the other one knows how fucking numbers works. Which one are you again?
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstar Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the